Okay, so this is take two. I think this is the mic. It's working, but it sounds better when I'm up close. It looks like, and then then I gotta pull it back. But hey, everybody! I don't know who's watching yet, but I am. It's Mike from Real Black. Hopefully, this is a new microphone. I got five people. Hey, everybody! So here's the deal. So I'm at work, of course. I changed the white balance, and it got brighter all of a sudden. It's a nice sunny day. I'm in the front area. Hey, Millie Mill. I'm in the front area of my apartment, and all that junk will remain junk, but we're in the process of renovating. Ultimately, because the light is so good here, and I want, I've cleared out a lot of my stuff. It's in storage. I want to make this more of a place to work and maybe do live podcasts. Can you guys hear me okay? If I put this over here, whoops, bounce. Is that still good quality sound for folks? I'm gonna take this off. Um, hey, no, I just joined. I just got on. I should have gotten my makeup artist to help me a little bit, but I got this new camera because everybody seemed to be enjoying the podcasts and pressure. Um, hey El Mensa, hey Jay, what are you guys doing? It's 12:19 here in Philly, so I'm guessing it's lunchtime. It was a good time. I already ate. I'm on my way to dessert in a way. I got to clean my hands now. Hey, so feel free to ask anything. I was transferring some audio, procrastinating quite frankly, into doing some big video edits. I got so many things on the hard drives. Hey, Richmond, Charles, like just stacks of these, and they all have projects that I should be editing. I actually have a paid job that was due 2 days ago, and um, I have to work on that today, and then we have an interview tomorrow. I'm so excited. I got to go to storage today too, or to the Goodwill. We're going to be interviewing Joseph Kahn, and I think one of the actors from this new movie called Body. Oh, thank you, Charles. Bodied, which is playing at the film festival tonight. Unfortunately, we're going to be broadcasting live, a live stream tonight with Charles. We want to talk about the Megyn Kelly situation, and we also want to discuss the Kanye West thing because it seems like a lot of the comments keep sort of asking kind of the same question, like how why is it that when black people especially, start to make money, they kind of forget about their past, so to speak. And there's a big theory that Charles has discussed a few times on the show, where he and we want to sort of explore that more deeply, the sunken place kind of thing. And of course, I have to learn this. I'm gonna move this over an inch so I can read better. Um, Tyann having a bad day? No, well, we're all procrastinating. If you have the luxury of watching me at noon, then either you have a job and you're taking a break. Well, there's my grandmother behind me, or you just you're lucky. But I feel it's a good time to chat. The Paul Mooney upload from '73. The one from the Black Omnibus, that was a great find. I want people to get the DVD box set. We're not. I never condone piracy, but the aim of the channel is to share things that you ordinarily wouldn't find. So like using it as a historical reference, I think is okay, but at the same time, my intention is not to put the entire box set of Black Omnibus up, or certain things that I know we're going to get flagged on. So um but yeah, that's an excellent series, Black Omnibus. It's on DVD. But yeah, and then also Charles said I should stick to an agenda. I just want to share some things, and then also there's some space as we renovate, or as I renovate the space, I want to get one of these posters hung up. I got a whole bunch of posters, so if you guys can vote. But this is just out. I don't have any connect at Universal, but Rusty Kandiev was on the show, and we're so excited for him that I went out and bought the Tales from the Hood 2 Blu-ray. You see, it's still sealed. I don't know when I'm gonna have time to watch that, but it's out now. Ask me anything. I appreciate your channel, Sama. Contra Baba to old TV. Well, yeah. That also, yeah. Let us know what you like more of. I mean, the main purpose for me originally was I had a TV show where we interviewed celebrities, and then we also I like concert videos. My one of my early partners, Craig, he enjoyed music as much as I did, so we filmed a lot of concerts at that time. So that was a half-hour show on local TV, was interviews with filmmakers, comedians, and musicians, and then Dick Gregory, considered a comedian. We went to interview him, and he gave it just took everything in a whole different direction, not a different direction, but it concentrated our intention more. So it gave us more focus in terms of, we've always celebrated Black culture and Black film and representation, but also, it gave us a pathway to really discuss the issues, uh, through using history and also politics and things like that, and of course Charles Wood's contributions. More interviews in the future. Well, I know Tony Rock will be here next week in Philadelphia, and he's a friend. I did movies on both his brothers that are in comedy, Chris and Jordan. I've never made a movie about Tony. The last time we were supposed to interview him, the power went out in the nightclub, and we caught him like outside the club for like 5 or 10 minutes. I'm hoping things align better and we can sit down and have a conversation with Tony. I've been traveling more, so I haven't been putting the the names and the requests in as much as I should for anybody's interviews. I'm just kind of taking them as they come, and trying to realign in the sense that the year's almost over and we got to get a film out. Charles has got to get his book done. I got to get a script written. So the job that I'm procrastinating on, it'll be the last thing that I'll actively do this year for others, and then the rest of the year will be for me, and hopefully it'll be for you as well. But Newark, I just saw a movie in the film festival all about Newark. It's called This One's for the Ladies, and it was an interesting film because it was about black male strippers. There's a whole, I don't know if anybody knew this, or maybe everybody knows this, but there's a whole circuit of black male exotic dancers that go up and down the East Coast, New Jersey, Philly, the tri state, New York, New Jersey, Philly area. And these guys are going to do a reality show about them. And then they turned it into a feature film. And it was somewhat explicit and very interesting. And definitely the realest movie that I saw at the film festival this year. It definitely showed us being ourselves. I don't know, when you go see a movie about black male strippers, I don't know if you necessarily are looking for representation, but all culture is valid to me. But anyway, it got quiet. We got 20 people in here. Hope everybody's having fun. What I wanted to do is figure out what I'm gonna put on the walls and things like that. Because like I said, I don't know. I'm not a painter. This wood paneling was not my choice. It was here when I moved in, but we're gonna probably paint over it and organize the shelves better. Those are the archives of everything I've shot, basically. So that's gonna stay. Those boxes need to stay open. It's not gonna, when it's all said and done, it's still gonna look like a workspace. It's not gonna look like CNN or anything like that. But I'm saying a lot. One of the main purposes also is just to show that the technology is such that anybody can do things like this. I don't want the responsibility of always feeling like I have to be the one to tell the story, but there's certain stories that I like, and I've come to a realization that if I don't tell them, no one else has enough interest to do it. So, all right, elections in 12 days, but we can all vote now. I've been digging through things and finding stuff to post on the channel. Is this a priority? Does any? I don't know. This is a soundtrack from a Broadway show called St. Louis Woman with Pearl Bailey and Harold Nicholas. And I have to do the and Ruben Mamoulian directed it. That's interesting. He's a film director. He did a lot of stuff for years. Some I don't have his filmography in my head, but he did. I think he directed one of the early black films, or he was actually Mamoulian was the original director for Porgy and Bess, and he got kicked off. So he's a long history of stuff, and it's a capital. So I don't know, may already be out on Spotify. I got to do the research, but that could very well come up. I just digitized for those who are into the interviews. Um, hey Kizzy, oh Kizzy, that's very fitting. Um, this just came in. I got on eBay. Um, it's an interview with Quincy Jones about the color purple, and I'm not sure. Okay, so side one is the interview. Side two are um, clips from the soundtrack. So if I feel like if I put the music up, it'll get flagged, but we can definitely share that interview. I thought it was interesting, and then um, Dick Gregory seemed like a force to acknowledge. Yeah, so well, look, I'm just a conduit for all the information. It's very interesting how things come into your path. But Dick Gregory certainly changed the world for a lot of people, and for right now, it's provided us a platform to share more. So I'm very appreciative of Bob and Dick. And then this, I've had this for years. I've never seen it come back out. Rose Banks, who is the sister of Sly Stone, and she made this album for Motown. And as much Motown has been released, and even on streaming, I've never seen this come out. So there's a chance we'll get to that one, but I should put things away. The reason why everything's so sloppy is because I never do this when I'm done. Video games are very cinematic. I don't play video games enough to be expert at it. I actually, uh, it was predicted when I was in film school in the mid 90s at American Film Institute. Sony put a lot of money into the school because they saw video game technology supplanting film, and they were trying to encourage film storytellers to get into the interactive game. And maybe I'm just old fashioned. I know and that video games are visceral, but what I think we're still missing is story. So I've always concentrated on being a storyteller, even to the detriment. I think one of the things that I'll talk to Joseph Kahn tomorrow about is he's done thousands of music videos and has had huge budgets, and his work has been seen by the whole planet, but he's only made 3 feature films. And what the differences in the mediums are. But for me, primarily, it's about stories. So I've not yet seen video games that attract me in a way where you hit people with emotion, and then you give them something to take home besides that experience, the emotional experience. Um, Kizzy's in the UK, so it's about 10 o'clock at night in the UK. I'm guessing. Uh, Sat down, found friends. Yeah, we're trying to educate. Uh, Joe, okay. Well, if you can school me, I that's the thing. And then black video game things. I don't even know what the game is in terms of, is it marginalized for black creators, or how do you get in, and then overall what's the market? It's a whole nother, it's something I'm outside the realm of. Here's something I found, this in storage, and it's a nice piece. I'm not, I don't know if you can see the signature. So I got this years ago before she passed on eBay, unfortunately, and it's from a dealer that has been reprimanded several times for fakes. I would love to believe this is an authentic Whitney Houston signature, but I would be fraudulent at this point for me to even put it up on a wall or something saying, because I never met her or anything like that. But so the job at hand, as I'm answering questions, is to figure out what poster I should spend money to get framed, because I want to reinvigorate the space and make it more habitable. Um, we lost 10 people. How dare you? Um, these don't look like much. Let's see what's in this tube. Do you guys, are you into movies or black culture, or what attracts you to this channel? And if I'm asking a question, what attracts you to the channel besides Dick Gregory, and what what would you like to see more of? Do you like the audio stuff? Do you watch the channel while you're working? Do you watch it on your computer? I think I created a problem here. Do you watch on your computer? Do you listen? Would you want us to go back to SoundCloud and make the podcasts available also as things on iTunes? Um, what? Where do you live outside? If inside the country, what's your perspective on blackness? What are your favorite types of movies? Whose work do you appreciate? Because I am a. Oh, this is a nice piece. I don't know if hold that up for a second. That that was not cheap. I have to be careful with that. That's a very hard to come by investment. Um, Latest games, stories, crossing. See Mafia 3. Okay, I'll try. What is that on all the platforms? Mafia 3, is that like a PlayStation? I don't even have a game system. I don't have any newer game systems. This stuff ain't. Oh, this is an interesting one. Mafia 3. Okay, I'll check it out. That's all I can say. I have opposable thumbs. I guess I could get into it. I don't have an opinion because I don't play games, but I feel like the whole culture has been dumbed down. And there's Mike Pender. Is that Mike Pender from Philly? Philly Film Boy. You should be editing. Why are you watching me? So that's. I would not put this up as like a $3 movie poster. But I'm too close to the camera, but I can't hear. Mike should be editing. He just posted. Follow him on Instagram. Mike, you should put your Instagram on the chat. I mean, there's 15 people watching now, but there'll be a lot of people watching the replay. This is virtually a lost film. And so for years, I think my quest for this movie is diminished a little bit, but I'm very happy to have that. I've been on that a while ago. It's Your Thing. T-Neck Records, the Isley Brothers, in 70, 71, they actually, when they had their distribution through Buddha Records, they financed their own concert film, and it was called It's Your Thing. And they shot it on videotape and then transferred it to film, released it to theaters. It only played a few cities and promptly disappeared. The soundtrack was released on vinyl, but it was never reissued in the CD era. And it was a movie that when you would read the Leonard Maltin guide. Hey, Michael Berger. Um, when you read the Leonard Maltin guide, you'd see the listing and everything, and you'd wonder what the movie was. So when I saw the poster come up for auction, I bid on it. I won it. I was happy to have it. And I don't know if the film will ever come out, but the soundtrack did come out on Spotify, and it's okay. It's like But it is a piece. While the Isley Brothers are still around, Ron Isley's still around. It'd be great to see them rediscover it, put it back out in some way so we could really see it. Because even just the outfits, it's Live from Yankee Stadium is what the album's called. What are people's takes on the Green Mile? We have a Magical Negro piece in the can that Charles shot where he talks about Green Mile and different things like that. I mean, it's a brilliant film. It's one of the Stephen King's best films. Frank Darabont, who went on to help create Walking Dead, amazing writer, and I don't have a feeling with that. But Green Book, I had a chance to see last night. I'm not sure if I can review it, but it's a very strong movie, and it's not a magical Negro. I'm going to eat some butter pecan, but the Mahershala Ali movie, Green Book, well worth seeing on the big screen and talking to people about. More posters, anybody? A bunch here. Close. I hope the floor is clean. Another tube. This is years of collecting and limited wall space. So, it's a fetish that I have, but it's not a wise one because this stuff it only works within. You can find Green Mile or Green Book or which movie, Jay? Which movie are we talking about? Green Book comes out Thanksgiving. It's Your Thing. No one can find it. Oh, this is interesting. These are throw-ins. But we can go through them a little bit. Chadwick, who's actually in Philadelphia as we speak. Chadwick Boseman is shooting some movie. I don't know the name of it, unfortunately. So Kevin Hart, Will Ferrell. His first big attempt at crossover. This must be from 2 years ago. This is Chris Rock. I want to remember where that is. Hope we can get Chris Rock on the show soon. Oh, this is good to know as well because I have a call in. That Soldier Story. I would call in to Charles Fuller. This might be a good one. Let's set this one aside, guys. That might be a good one House Party original. It's good condition too. All right, one sheet. Reggie Hudlin Brothers. Yes, Mike. So I think this house party is going in the A pile, and I should remember where. Certainly, you can hear it all falling. It's a freaking mess. Um, that's gonna take me longer to clean up than to shoot the video. Hey guys, dope. Yes. Um, oh, these are backwards. Where hands? Oh, it's not backwards. So maybe it is. I don't know. Where hands touch. And that's the B poster. Now, I didn't review this. We talked about. Me and Charles talk about this all the time offline. It comes out on Blu-ray next week, I think. Black Klansman. Did anybody see it? What were your thoughts? I was I'm not a fan. We had the writer on the radio show. I I'm not seeing the same movie that other people are seeing, but I own that up to me being preconditioned. My basic thought is it's unfair for you to call depictions of black people coonery and buffoonery, and then you make a movie that shows white people, you know, just as ignorant. I think if you're talking about the KKK, white supremacy, it's a much more insidious belief system than just a bunch of dumb hillbilly hicks. And I think that you do a disservice by not by writing folks off. It's one of the it's another part of the racial double standard that white folks routinely can write off poor disenfranchised whites as white trash and they don't represent them and they're ignorant or whatever. But those same folks can fold back into that white identity and reinforce the entire system. But we don't seem to have that same choice. So, you know, they sent me, it's just good. They sent me a bunch of these, I guess. Um, the Amy Winehouse movie. Everybody, this was an amazing film, a very sad film. But I think that I got like four of these. I think the reason I have so many of them was part of the deal. Thank God for YouTube, right? The movie Amy. This is what you can see basically anywhere. I think it's on Netflix and definitely Prime and stuff like that. In Pennsylvania, tomorrow. Uh, we we contributed to the movie Amy, which ended up getting an Oscar nomination. About a month or two before the movie was released, I got these emails from these folks saying they were working with the Amy Winehouse estate, and they saw this footage that I had posted that we'd shot at World Cafe Live as part of the Black Lily film and music festival. It was a weekend of film screenings and concerts about 10 years ago. It was the first festival to show Ava DuVernay's work here in the city. It was curated by my friends Mercedes Martinez and Tracy Moore and Maori Holmes. And so we got permission to shoot the concert. So it was fun for us. We took like, I think, 7 cameras that night and we shot the entire show. And the surprise guest was Amy Winehouse. And I think it might have been her first. She was performing that night at the either the Electric Factory or the Trocadero, and she made on Questlove's suggestion a surprise appearance, and she did 2 songs. And when she passed away, I posted one of the songs. So these folks, they reached out to me and they said, "Hey, do you have any more footage?" And at first I was like, "Well, I'm the director, you know, um, if you're going to use it, I don't want you to recut what I already did because I like it the way I did it." And they were very persistent. and they showed me where they wanted to use the footage. It was part of like demonstrating the relationship between Questlove and Amy Winehouse, and they showed like a rough cut, and the cut it had like a still photo of Questlove and Amy Winehouse backstage, and I was going through the hard drives and stuff, and I noticed that Ralston, who was backstage and literally followed them out and then back in after the performance, had caught the exact same moment, but in video. So we actually had on video the moment of them walking back into the dressing room, and they licensed that from us, and just like a little 3 second clip. But I think so that's how, like I got money too. Don't trust me, and we were able to pay folks, for, well, Daryl and I, we split the money that we got for that, and I guess I got some posters. So, I'm a legend. Okay, well, if you say so. I'm still sitting here in front of a webcam. Um, Tumar, well, email me, Tumar. We're still trying to. If you want to pay it back, we got these buttons, and then I only have like 100 of the Charles buttons. I think I got like 100 of these made, and we already had about 4 people, 3 or 4 people already send money in the PayPal to get them. So if you enjoy what we do, and you want to support, you can PayPal, and anything over $3, I'll send buttons to you. Good idea for nonprofit. It's in the world. Still selling real black hats. I haven't had some made yet. I mean, what happened, JDW, is that the numbers online have gone up, but our in-person numbers have gone down, quite a bit, because we're in a smaller venue, and I don't spend money to market and promote. So I don't work as hard to get as many people to come out. It's hard to get people to come in physical spaces anymore. So, I just, when I order shirts and hats and things, um, I end up sitting on them for such a long time, and then I lose money because I get tired of looking at them. I give them away. So, but I did get an email. I get emails all the time, but this week somebody said, "Hey, we can handle your e-commerce. If you want to set up a store, we can do merch for you." So it's just a matter at this point, realistically, of just designing new merch and getting the shirts and the hats made. So it's got a little bent up, but it smells good. It smells like ink. That clean. I don't know. There's a certain smell that posters, when they're brand new, have. Especially, it's got a lot of black ink in it. It smells really good. You could get high. Get high on that. Concussion. I think this is the same. Yes, another concussion. Am I donating to a museum? I don't think I have enough weight at this point. I mean, the belief, when anybody that collects things, they think that their collection is worth stuff. And yeah, if I live long enough, if enough people know about what we do, then maybe it gains the level of importance where it would have value to somebody. But I think, like I said before, Black culture is always typically undervalued, and people that collect things, they tend to be on a mission. But I've kind of come to terms at this point. I'm not actively trying to build a big paper collection, but there are certain things that are very close to me and that I enjoy possessing. But I don't expect other people to place the same value. Like in my mind, maybe I'll say, hey, it's worth money, and that's to justify the purchase. But it's more about having a tangible connection to a memory for me, and then maybe, like in the case of the Isley Brothers, preserving, so maybe over time, this is like this is beat up. This is not something that's worth it for everybody. Um, but Richard Pryor's breakthrough role, Silver Streak. Um, did you direct these movies? I didn't direct Amy. I there's a clip of Amy Winehouse that they licensed some of our footage in order to make that movie. This is I'm just for those who are tuning in late or arbitrarily. I'm just trying to decide when I get this cleared out and looking better, what poster I'm going to get framed. This might this might be one. Love this man. This- I think of all the heroes that I have, Richard Pryor, maybe James Brown a close second, but Richard Pryor was the guy. He's my guy. He's my guy. So that goes in the A pile. Hey Marsum, this I got. We were in touch with Marky Bay for a minute, and I thought I was going to get out to L.A. and meet her, and it may still happen. So she made about um, half a dozen movies in Hollywood. Marky, that's her on the cover. This is her probably best known role. Pointing at the wrong place. Um, Sugar Hill. Is it reading backwards to you? Is it me? Um, so it's a zombie horror flick from the black exploitation era. Put that on my A pile. Oh, you have which one? Sugar Hill? Should I get it? If I get it signed, then maybe I'll get it framed. Um, I'm a big Marky Bay fan. I actually saw a lot of stuff is in storage, but um, that's Marky. Also, her debut role. Very uh, very good film for me. The Landlord, and there's a MOD. This is a blue background, but um for well, I saw it at the right time. Pearl Bailey again is in Adonis Sands, Luke Gossett, and it's about a rich, privileged white kid who takes has owns an apartment building in Harlem, and he decides to move in uh, as the landlord. And Bill Gunn wrote it, and Hal Ashby. It's his first directing job. There's a movie out now called Hal, which is about Hal Ashby, which I want to see. But Marky holds a very ingenue in that film. She basically plays a love interest and creates some chaos and stuff. I highly recommend people see that. National. Uh, well, the Smithsonian. They friends of mine. Oh, these are nice. I gotta wait for this. Well, if it comes to pass, that things end up in some sort of collection, and that's great. I'm not discounting it. I'm just saying, my personal motive for collecting stuff is because I want to, and it's important. I like to, but I learned a long time ago not like what I think is valuable might not have value to other people. So I don't I don't look at this stuff from an appreciation standpoint. And also talking to Charles, who has a way bigger collection than I do, and then also um, Dr. Richards, who did sell half of her husband's collection to the Smithsonian. It's just it's like anything that you collect. It's like a car or cigars or anything. You still have to match up with the right buyer, or if you need money for this stuff, then you're probably gonna take a loss on it. If it's So but I think eventually I will go into storage and pull doubles and have some sort of garage sale or online sale because it's not healthy for me if I have more than one of something to just hoard. I don't believe in that. But this was nice. We have in the can um, interviews with Melvin Van Peebles, and okay, I gotta stand up again. So this could end up. This very well could be one. Um, I think this is in the lead right now. So this is the one sheet for Watermelon Man, and he actually signed it to Real Black. So that's something that we could put a vote on. Be very careful with this one. It's made out to Real Black. So if it ends up somewhere else, I know where you got it. I think that may end up being framed because it's signed by Melvin. And let's see. We're just for folks tuning in late. I should be editing as Mike Pender should be editing, but we're wasting the day procrastinating and eating ice cream and answering questions and making sure that the sound works because tonight Charles is going to join us. This is a new camera situation, and that's the new microphone. So we want to make sure that everything is working and stuff for when. I'm still not finding the thing I was really looking for. But let's see. I'm not going to tell you my source. If you know the source, then that's good for you. But I'm not telling people my source is because it's an auction site, and it may come a day where I'm being outbid by somebody. I don't want the Michael Jackson, Paul McCartney situation to pop up in my collecting. Although I'm taking a hiatus from paper, I'm really interested in radio broadcast, like radio specials and things like that, because I can put them on the channel and share them. But the best we can do with these was that a hit? I don't even remember. Do people still watch Annie? If you had, I mean, very important. Will Smith produced it. Very important. Um, I like how Will Smith has hijacked the Columbia Pictures catalog and remade them as black films. He did it first with Karate Kid, and then he did Annie. I don't know what the third one would be. What's a Columbia picture that needs to be remade with black people? Oh, didn't know I had that. Does anybody know the name? It's Losing Isaiah. 1994, 95. Sam Jackson and Halle Berry. I don't know. That might be a hard one. I haven't even thought about Losing Isaiah in a while. Tyler. I mean, Tyler's security. I'm not gonna. I may be seeing Tyler Perry on Monday. He's making an appearance in New York. I'm debating where they go. Ooh, no, this was here. All right, let's make some time for this one. All right, so folks know this one before I show the title. Anybody know this movie? Bueller, Bueller. Yes, Hollywood Shuffle. Um, be careful with this. Uh, be very careful with this. I think I have another one of this somewhere, but it might be in storage now. Remember, um, yeah, I know I did because I on eBay this guy had three at one point, and this is from a different place. I must have gotten that. That's the second copy. I must have gotten it cheap. Um, yes, Michael, I totally agree. Hollywood Shuffle is so underrated, and I don't know why uh, people don't still don't have that same mentality when it comes to our representation. That's my big frustration with the work that I see now. There's no real satire being done. Not since Chappelle, and Chappelle, that's almost 15 years ago. Chappelle's show, right? But there's I don't see anything in that spirit. Even like a school dance or something does not hit home as much as in Living Color or Hollywood Shuffle. And Hollywood Shuffle was really the birth of all of that in a way because it put Robert Townsend on the map and it begat in Living Color because Aubrey Wayans worked on it, and you know, there's always work at the post office, Bobby. John Witherspoon. I mean, so much talent was birthed out of that film. Uh, that's not funny. It was a dope poster. I like dope, but what was interesting to me about dope was nobody picked up on that it was just an update of Risky Business with drugs instead of prostitution. It was the exact same movie. Dope is the exact same movie as Risky Business, down to the ending, except they put Superfly in as the twist. Exact same movie, but with drugs instead of prostitution. But somehow it's like a new recipe for people because people hadn't seen it in so long. I said, did Puff Daddy come up with this one? Because this is just a straight rip. But anyway, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the only person that noticed that. Somebody else told me I was wrong when I said something, so I don't mind being wrong about things. Um, well, that's a beautiful piece. This is a movie I saw in college. Where's my autofocus? There we go. Chuck Berry. And thanks, Megan. Did anybody else understand it, or does anybody else see that? Am I the only one? Like I said, this is Risky Business, same fucking movie, but I'm old, so maybe yes, Hail Hail Rock and Roll. I love this movie, and one of the best DVD box sets because it has the 3 disc version has as Taylor Hackford actually. I'll get back to um, Hail Hail Rock and Roll, Chuck Berry, the box set. If you can get the 3 DVD set, it's worth all the money because Taylor Hackford, who also did Ray, and he made sure to include all the full interviews with all the people he talked to. He's got some amazing footage. Chuck Berry and Bo Diddley and Little Richard all sitting at a table reminiscing. I mean, Little Richard's the only one still standing at this point, and all the rehearsal footage, all everything is in there, and it's just a document. When in the '80s, when people were really trying to reclaim what rock and roll was and give people, the originators, credit, this movie went a long way in understanding. I don't know how many people still get a chance to see it. Um, Harlem Nights. I can't put up the Hollywood Shuffle. It's a beautiful poster. I only have 3, 4 walls. And it's only when I get the mansion, maybe we'll do that. I'll put it next to the stripper pole. I'll put all the posters, and then I'll have the pole at the end of the hall. I don't know. Right now, it's just my grandmother's watching. So, oh, this is an interesting movie. This is something I've never saw. Um, it's Zalman King. It's like it's got this trippy stoner look to it, but um, maybe I shouldn't show that part. But it's called "You Gotta Walk It or You Talk It." You gotta walk it like you talk it, or you'll lose that beat. And the reason I wanted this one, I've never seen the film. I don't even know if it's available, quite frankly. Um, Richard Pryor's in it, and it's one of his early films. He did it when he was in the Bay Area. Zalman King is a star. He was also the star of a movie with Richard called Some Kind of Loving, aka Sleeping Beauty. So, um, until I see the movie, I thought this was something I wanted to. Now, this is something I wanted to make sure was preserved. This is, but if it goes in an archive or something, I have no control over it. Stuff, it's mine until I'm gone, and then when I'm gone, it's up to somebody else to figure out what to do with it. But just sharing. Ooh, half sheets. These are interesting. So these like inserts, they would go on the side of the movie theater, like in the little narrow spaces. So there's a Cosby, um, Devlin, Max Devlin. Before the Cosby Show hit huge, and maybe it was signing the deal with the devil. Before Cosby Show, Cosby was really floundering in show business, and he made a movie for Disney uh, called The Devlin, Max Devlin. He does much better on television than he does in movies. I don't know if it was a big hit. I didn't see it in the theater. I don't know if I've ever seen it. Superfly TNT insert. You know, movie nobody saw. I mean, still not on DVD for whatever reason. Superfly TNT, but it's interesting because it's written by Alex Haley and co-stars Robert Guillaume, pre-Benson Robert Guillaume, and it's set in Europe, I believe. Oh, here's some more Cosby. Anybody know this one? Oh, I think I have a Mother Drugs and Speed somewhere. I think I do. I like Mother Drugs and Speed. Piece of the action. So this is the second in the trilogy, and I'll pan over here. We'll see. Uptown Saturday Night I have framed. That's one of my touchstone movies is Uptown Saturday Night. So in a perfect world, I'd have all three of them. Well, in a perfect world, there'd be a Criterion box set of all three of those. While these gentlemen are still living, but they made one of them into a pariah, so I guess hang on to your DVDs. I don't know if we're ever going to get a Blu-ray of the complete Uptown Saturday Night trilogy. My understanding is Kevin Hart is now in talks. For years. It was going to be a Richard Eddie Murphy vehicle, and now it's moved over to Kevin Hart, Uptown Saturday Night. More I'm missing questions. Mega. Like people know what I'm saying. Yeah, Hail Hell. I like Hail Hell, Cosby, Clyde. Okay, so we're up to speed. Okay, here's another sequel. Pick up on that. Some of these I can see forward, some look backward to me. I don't know why. I might have dyslexia. Can anybody guess that one? Yes. Meg is up on his ish. So, you know, I think I'll say this: if I die tomorrow, please make sure that Tariq Nasheed gets this. I'm tired of looking at his poster. He's got that the three chicks. I don't know why I put that one up. That this would be a better one for Tariq. I forget what movie he has back there. Oh, this I'm glad I'm trying to get this one together. We interviewed this gentleman years ago. I've been trying to get this signed for a long time. Um, and when I do get it signed, it will. Anybody know the name of this one? You know, I'll have assistants. I'll have all kinds of stuff. You know, it's weird. You know, kind of like um. There you go. Mega's on top of all these. I don't know. I don't think Mega has missed any of them. Uh, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I like the way my life is. I know I need to make another film. Just for myself because my own edification, and it's really about the mental space of being able to do something original that I haven't seen, and also getting over the fear and frustration of like trying to chip away. You know, Mike can tell you it's not easy to when you have to use things outside of your own resources. You got to convince people. You got to come at them hard, or else you're gonna get compromised. You know, so it's not about waiting for ducks to line up. It's just really about finding that passion of what's every day you got to get up and you got to just fight. It's a fight to get a movie made, and it's not unless you have your own resources. It's not easy to pull off, and then you still have to make sure that everybody stays whole at the end of it. So, um, it's on my list, but the so but I say that because I kind of like the way things are. You know, if you can do a certain amount of work and you share and just have time to just feed yourself, read, do research, be creative, then I think that to me is what I value about existence. But it's not about trying to prove things anymore. Because I think uh, it's not the battle is different. Movies are everywhere, so these I need to get the full set. This is a movie not many people have seen. Um, has anybody ever seen that? It's a very important film. I got I it's like half. I think it's eight. Usually it's eight images in a lobby card set. So I got two, and I didn't pay a whole lot for them. Like to get the full set would probably be exorbitant right now. If anybody still has the full set, and then also, you can tell by the age of the paper. These were done at a time when, like, you have tape and pinholes. These were used. It wasn't at a period where people were actually like even seeing value on the paper collectible. So like I'd say pre 74, 75, people were just throwing the stuff in the trash as soon as it was done with. So Cool World is an interesting film because it's Shirley Clark. For whatever reason, it's out of distribution. It's never been on home video for whatever reason. All of Shirley Clark's films. She's a woman filmmaker. She passed away maybe I hate to say what year. She passed away not too long ago, but about 2 years ago, all of her films were restored by Milestone, with the exception of Cool World. And she made some really interesting films. Portrait of Jason is one that I recommend, and it's been remade. It's considered a camp classic at this point, and um, it's basically she sat in a hotel room with a very extravagant gay black man for a few hours, and he tells a story in front of the camera. And because nobody else was really taking the time to explore that identity at that time, it's considered a classic. And Cool World also, deals with kids in Harlem and junkiedom, and I couldn't get away with putting the whole film up. They would come after me for sure, but the opening scene is great. I think it applies. But Cool World is good because it also is the first film of Antonio Fargas, who's would later appear in Putney Swope, and I think the guy from Mod Squad, he's also in it. But it's basically um, it's something that needs to be revitalized. Fred Wiseman, Zipporah Films controls the rights, and their screenings every couple years. So you can go see it in the theater, but for whatever reason, they never put it on any home video format. And I don't know if it's resentment by Wiseman on his part because he's a renowned filmmaker himself. It could be an ego thing, or it could just be a music rights, or we don't want to put money into restoring it thing. Um, no, Shirley Clark is Cool World is Shirley Clark. Cassavetes, you make me dig, aren't you? I'm gonna blame you if any of the stuff gets wrecked while I'm showing off. I'm not gonna blame myself for showing off. I'm gonna blame you for making me dig. Cassavetes, similar film. He did Shadows, which is that's a Blu-ray, so that's a very good film. It's about it's a play by a white girl. I hate when they do this shit. It's a white woman, but she's playing a biracial character, and they did that a lot in the '60s. But um, her brother's black, and it's just about her love affairs and things like that. But it's Shadows, for those who are not familiar, is John Cassavetes. This is considered the very first American independent film. Um, and it was distributed. It took, I think, 7 or 8 years from to make it, and it's considered a classic by all means. Cassavetes, actor, best known probably for Rosemary's Baby, but also a filmmaker who, over the course of 30 years, independently financed a whole series of films, including things starring his wife, Jenna Rollins, uh, Gloria being probably the biggest budgeted thing. But he would take the money he made in Hollywood, much like Orson Welles, take the money he made in Hollywood, and then go off with his friends and make his own movies and push the boundaries within acting and um, directing, cinematography. Very, very, very truthful fellow when it comes to his art. And yeah, so it's a different film, just to answer your question. And I think we're still safe. Nothing fell too bad. Yeah, that's the Criterion Cassavetes box set. And I got maybe one more thing laying here. This is random. I had a stack of these at one point. I think that might be the last one. Just my generosity unparalleled. There's a couple more in here. These are called minis, the size, and you'll see them most often. They'll have them at the promo screenings, or you might see a stack of them at the movie theater the week of release or the week before, and they're promotional items, that people can take home with them after they see the movie or whatever. Or if if you have a guest, they can sign them. Uh, it's more a handout. It's not made for any kind of display purpose, but um, it's just part of the collection. Um, what's this one? This is another. It's your thing, but it's folded. I don't know why it's folded. Same Isley Brothers. So that may be down the road. I've been on it twice. They got me. Um, so that would be nice to sell it, get a fair price for it back. But I don't know if that's ever likely. This is an interesting one. Oh, it's in good shape. This has never been on DVD, but it comes on every year on Turner. They make sure that people know about this movie. It's at least once a year. Turner Classic Movies plays it. It's one, something fell. That wasn't fun. Um, One potato, two potato, and it's an American film. Uh, and Barbara Berry and Bernie Hamilton, who is Chico Hamilton's brother, and Bernie also played the sergeant on Starsky and Hutch. And it's an interracial story. I think it's a child custody case or something. It's been so long since I've seen it. This Charles Wood's expertise. Um, uh, what black films in the works? I'll get to. Hey, Michelle from Trinidad. Oh, there's my phone that fell. I'll answer questions in a second. There's like two things left, I think. Um, but I did. This was a very useful thing for me to share this stuff because I wanted to find that Putney Swope, and I think I like the Richard Pryor. I like the Richard Pryor a lot. Um, I don't know if I would put it up. I have limited wall space. I don't know if that would be the one though. And then the Melvin Van Peebles was nice. I don't know. I'm debating, trying to figure it out, as we all are. Um, um it's way over there. I'm not getting up, but there's a nice book that has a lot of rare black cast posters in it called Cinema Apart, um, or Separate Cinema. It's a hardback book. All right, so this is the last one that I can fathom, and then answer. Oh, this is interesting. This was a good one. This is one I saw in college. Um, Always liked Bob Hoskins, Kathy Tyson. She's a British film, Mona Lisa. It came out on Criterion. I don't know if it's still in print. I don't honestly. I don't think I have a copy of Mona Lisa. I haven't seen it since the '80s. Actually, it was probably high school when I saw it. '84, I think, is the year it came out. But Bob Hoskins, after Long Good Friday, made this British film. He's a gangster, falls for a singer who's this ingenue, young biracial girl. Okay, so helping you, Michelle. All right, let me go through. Oh, thank you, Michelle. I appreciate it. We're trying to stimulate everybody's conscious. I learned too. We all want to learn. I comment I made earlier. Somebody was saying they knew things. I said a lot of people don't because we're all kind of programmed and conditioned the same way, and it's not even about what your perspective is or what your life experience is. It literally is or what culture you come from. It's certain things influence your bias just built into the language, you know. So one of the things that we want to delineate, I think I'll talk to Charles about it, but is delineate the idea of race versus culture. So I take pride in my identity as a black person, but for me, it's not about how much melanin it is in your skin and all that stuff. It's the shared experience of the culture and knowing that we've created so much, and that the world would be a lot different if not for our contributions. And that's what I'm here to celebrate and remind people of. That's what makes me feel good, in terms of the reflection. But at the same time, you know i you know I get it. I think if you retrace your steps, when folks, and also when I say real black, I say black is when we identified as black, that was when we were at our strongest. Now that may be a political or time thing or whatever, but I don't want people to dilute that aspect of their identity. But it's always reinforced a certain way, but we have to value ourselves, and that's the main thing. So if I were to say anything about collecting this stuff or wanting to share it, is just um I put the value on it, so I don't, it's not important to me. I mean, I would never want to see this destroyed, but it's not important to me. If you think this is worth $10 or $10,000, whatever, is worth a lot to me. I put the effort forth to make sure that it was preserved. That's the value I place on on myself and identity. This is a fun one too. I thought the disc was in here, but like it's Terrence Trent instead. But I gotta, once I find the disc, I'm gonna put this song up. It's already on YouTube. It's called Daffy Was a Black Man, and I actually believe that's one of my core beliefs, is that Daffy Duck represented black people. But these guys, they're from Philly, Two Kings in a Cipher. They put a record out called Daffy Was a Black Man. So one of the projects, if somebody wants to work with me, I want to identify other sort of like from the conscious rap movement, other lost songs, and kind of do like a mixtape of like conscious rap B-sides. Like we all know Fight the Power, but there's like Daffy Was a Black Man, and then I think LL Cool J had one called All We Got Left Is the Beat, and just different things that might be a little more obscure, that would be kind of a fun compilation, and put that together. What they do, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a project. I mean, I want to, if there were 10 songs that were semi obscure, not like a Cool Mo D, but not the most recognizable, or Queen Latifah, but not the most recognizable, or like an oddball group like them, or like an X Clan. It would be kind of a fun project to identify um, conscious rap and kind of put things into perspective and things like that. But that's what I got today. So is the sound good enough with this? The way the mic is here, you can hear me okay, because basically this is going to be the setup for tonight. I'm thinking between 10:30 and 11 we'll go on, and we're going to hit our topics and stuff. Um, and then this room will be in the other room. It won't be as right. I got to work on my mise en scène. I don't. It just looks too cluttered. Yeah, so we'll get that together. So, Sassy Mama, did I answer all your questions? I need help, but not just yet. I like the way my life is. I don't want to get it too complicated yet, because I'm not lazy, but I just, when I involve other people, then it becomes a real thing, and I just got to figure out what that mission is, in terms of like trying to get people together. The most I can come up with this week is, if you help us get If you want to support, send some money. I'll send you a button, and then that'll help us get Charles's book together. Because that has to happen this year. That has to happen this year. Technology. He's been working on it for 35 years, and it's starting to weigh on me. And then he's had the health crisis, and it's just like I know that everybody's waiting for it, and we gotta make that one happen. That's number one. And then I have a Leon Ware documentary that I want to work on, and then everybody in Philly's been waiting for this Five Spot documentary. So after I finish today, then next week, the rest of the year is gonna be my time, and hopefully it'll be a situation where we're getting a lot done for you. Got some binge watching to do. Feta cheese. Well, we have a 1,500 clips. I hope a lot of your time is spent on this channel. Um, World of Flesh and the Devil. Yeah, we spoke. We had Charles come down for World of Flesh and the Devil and talk about it. I don't know if we put the Q&A up. That's a good point. We showed it. We showed World of Flesh and the Devil maybe a year and a half ago here in Philly. It's a great film. Harry Belafonte is one of three people that remain alive in New York City after the nuclear holocaust. It's 1956 or 57, and everything's going great. He's about to, but he's so imprinted by the racial inferiority that even though he and this white lady, Swedish girl, are the last two people on Earth, and they have a chance to be the new Adam and Eve, he's so afraid to touch her and procreate and evolve a new world that's the issue until everything's Robert Ryan shows up, and he's a very aggressive, hyper aggressive white man who literally just wants to destroy Harry Belafonte, literally kill him. And sci-fi has a lot going on in it. It's a great film, and it's a thanks for reminding me. I think Charles came down for the screening, and we talked about it. I think we filmed that Q&A, but it never got posted. So if I can verify that, I'll look for the video and share it. It was a good conversation. We talk about that film quite a bit. Thank you, Brandon. Yeah, we're gonna sign off in a second. Yeah, Mega co-signs. Um, oh yeah, Sassy. Yeah, things are good right now. Things can always change, but I just don't. You get to a point where, in terms of your life, uh, motive and intention, is the key for me. It's always been so. If I'm gonna make a film, I want to make the best film I can, and it's a very political game. It's not just about me making something to put my name on it. It's really the question ever since the Dick Gregory videos is like, wow, a lot of people are interested. How do we amplify the message? It's great when people discover the information, but there are a lot of people, either they're uninformed or they're misinformed. So it's like, yeah, you can do the same thing, but if it's only going to reach the same sort of number of people, how do you get to that critical mass? And then also, how do you present it in a way where um, it makes its point? So to me, in my experience making films, and we can talk about this another time, it's not that you need. It's still a numbers game, and you got to make money for people, but it's not really about reaching masses of people. It's about reaching one or two people. And my success has always been down to one. It's been one or two people that saw something I did and liked it enough to use whatever power they had to leverage the next opportunity. So, I just look at that as being truth. I don't really want everybody, because even in my own taste, when artists that I like goes too far mainstream, I start not to like them. I and inherently when anything is commercialized and commodified, there is a level of compromise, sellout. Like, if you go back to my wheelhouse, which would be the 80s, there were a lot of great groups that had a lot to say. But when they got on MTV, it seemed like either the message was lost or it wasn't reaching people the same way. And I can point to groups like Culture Club or Tears for Fears, or even like, just it's just one of those things. Like when everybody starts liking it, they miss the point. So I just want to be. It's going to take me a little bit more time than I think it. I want it to, but there's a lot of ideas we're working on. But I have a lot of karmic debt right now, so I got to get this Leon Ware documentary done. I got to get Charles something out with Charles about technology, and um, just travel more, because I think the biggest question I have, and the reason why I enjoy doing the streams, is because I'm still of service. I want to make a film that people are going to watch, and the and I just have a really odd feeling that the movies that are being made are reflecting something of an audience that really isn't doesn't exist. It's like an imaginary audience to me. Because when I go to movies, I'm like, who wants this? Who asked for this? So, and does it touch me? So I just think that the population that we're reaching right now on the channel would love to support us, and what resonates is the truth. you know our level of truth that we're sharing. But we just don't know until I travel or I get to see things, what level of representation is actually paying for this content. Because right now we're giving away for free, and then people like things for different reasons. But I think what people that watch regularly like is it's something that it touches their core, and it's something that I'm ready to deliver, but I just don't. The identity is kind of a weird thing, so I want to fine tune the taste. So we'll be traveling a lot more and sharing a lot more, and getting that together. Um, Marsum, well, how old? Where do you live? See, I mean, the all right. So I'm gonna wrap it up. When we hit 1:30, I'm gonna wrap it up. 1 hour and 30 minutes. But the dilemma is, we want to make movies. We want people to pay money to see them, but at the same time, um, we're hitting everybody everywhere, right? And the information is not that it's one to empower, and it's about, we want to make a love story where you have two African American leads. There's no hybrid in that. It's a black man, it's a black woman, and they're dealing with issues, much in the way that a movie like Claudine connected with me. I don't see very many movies like a Claudine, coming out of the commercial film system. And part of that is the commercial environment, which is we have to reach all these quadrants. We only deem a certain type of actress as being beautiful or whatever. So you have a lot of biracial, or you have a lot of things where you think that a black man has to be paired with a Hispanic woman in order to make it more commercial. And I'm not against that, but I've seen that already, so I want to see it different. And then, if the issue is like procreation, and or how do we heal families, what's the representation? A movie like Kin does it. It's good for kids, but it doesn't do it for me, because you still have this whole idea of adoption involved. It's like, in order to even exist in the world as a young black child, you have to be adopted by a white family. And some of that is just who's telling the story, or some commercial variant. And then, so that's a level of compromise that I don't want to have to deal with when I bring my script around. So, but then the other thing when I read the comments is, how much things have changed. Wow, and it's sort of like, it's changed for everybody. So in my mind, I don't want to imagine everybody watching YouTube and saying, wow, it was so much better in the 80s before crack came, like they're literally sitting around a bunch of crack files watching these videos. I know that's not true, but how, if the question is how do you reach people who, when they look out the window, they see a certain environment, but when they go to the movies, they don't get a story that will help them make sense of their world, or at least put their world in perspective, even on a level of escape where they can imagine possibility. So that's why it's important for me to communicate, because we're not a monolith, and for a story to work, it has to be specific. It can't be generic black folks. And then the other issue, when you watch mainstream TV, like a show like a Blackish, a lot of reasons why TV is the way it is. It's folks are telling their truth from their perspective, and they live a certain lifestyle, and it's not that, it's a different era, like when it was Cosby, and because it was specifically Cosby, people could look at the success that he projected and be aspirational towards it, but when it's Anthony Anderson, and we've followed Anthony Anderson's career, it's not necessarily the same thing. Is He's not working class, he's black, upper middle class, and he's dealing with issues and things, but I don't know how truthful it is to the average viewer, when they see that dynamic. I think it's gotten better, but I don't necessarily know. I think it's specifically because the people that are in the rooms that get to pitch these shows come from a certain lifestyle, and they want to tell their story, that we don't necessarily get the story that's going to bring us up again the way we saw in a different world. I think people are just reflecting what they know. But yeah, Claudine needs to be remade. I mean, there's I do people even know Claudine? That's the other thing. If you did remake it, how would you do it? So that's the thing. I mean, they remade Sparkle and they fucked it up, in my opinion. So I'm not anxious for remakes. I just want reinvention. I just want, take we all like stories, take things that have worked in the past, and apply them to the issues of today. Like, I just saw Green Book last night. On a certain level, it's Driving Miss Daisy, but it's much more complex than that, because it deals with, um, there's no way for you to watch it in 2018 and it not connect with issues that we're facing on a day to day. Unlike The Help, which basically, once it touches on some of those issues as it relates to women, but in terms of race, it acts as if racism was cured by this woman taking agency over these maids. So those are dilemmas. But eventually, we just want to see things grow, and I just want to make sure that we're all growing in the right direction. But thanks for taking time hanging out with me, and I gotta start working. Well, Claude, I mean, if you hadn't seen the original Claudine, it might be okay, but I saw the original Claudine, so I was disappointed. Um, the other thing, you just have to understand, people are doing the best they can, and not everybody knows everything. So that's the first thing. Like, I may be talking a good game. When I put my movie out, you might still think it sucks. That's your prerogative. I'm just saying, um, for me personally, it's it's about doing the research to make sure that, when you make things generic, then it doesn't satisfy everybody. It's like eating. I prefer not spicy food, but seasoned food. You know, so if I go to a certain place, like yesterday, when this place, they promised home style, down home cooking. So I ordered the food, and it was as bland as possible. They took no risks in seasoning it to anybody's taste. It just was like cardboard. So if I'm gonna cook a meal for somebody, I'm not gonna I'm gonna be very deliberate with the way I season it. That's all I'm saying. So it's very important for me to know. I mean, I know that you guys enjoy it, and I know once it's amplified, a lot of people will enjoy it. But in my mind, I have to know who I'm cooking for, or else it's gonna look like everybody else's. It's gonna look a lot like things that you've seen before, and then none of us will be happy, and it won't be as good as it could be. I wouldn't say wasted, but it wouldn't be as good as it could be. So, um, thank you for taking the time, however much time you took, to hang out with me, and I hope I asked all the questions. Um, we're trying to get Tricknology book together. He's been working on it for years. We're in the process of putting a whole. It's gonna be in my mind, and we may. I'll ask Charles to discuss it a little more tonight. Uh, his concept of technology is overreaching, so we want to devise it as a documentary series so it's basically the mini lessons but more coherent and intentional, so that by the time you watch all 10 parts, you've gotten basically the chunk of what the book will be. And then once we have that information, we can you can digest it either as a book or as a video. But the goal is, that we can have enough success with it that we can actually sell these for real money, and get people to pay us to go talk and influence young kids, because that's the other thing. Kids don't really come to you, you have to go to them. So it's really important for us while we can to get speaking engagements in schools and film festivals, so that we can, just as much full circle, like Hollywood Shuffle influenced me, we want to have a piece of work that may have an opportunity to influence the next generation of storytellers. So that's the goal. All right. Yeah, Marsum. Yeah. So check in, and again, the previous video from yesterday tells you how you can get a button or a set of buttons, three buttons, $3 or more. And thank you. You guys helped me make sure that the microphone is working. And your views obviously help us get new gear all the time. And then I've narrowed down the posters that we'll put up in the background. And that's my grandmother. And I don't know what that doll is over there. I found it at a Goodwill. I thought it was cute, but that's our mascot, kind of Asian girl. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later tonight.